Hi and hello. I hope all is well with you wherever you are in the world today, and welcome. This is Dune Imperium, and I am Admiral Trench. I'm just going to make a small adjustment to the camera. That is the trick. Ever so slight adjustments. And there. Okay, wonderful. So, today I'll be doing yet another round of Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, which means no sword master for me. The Mentet space is going to cost 5 Solari, and my opponents will begin with an intrigue card each and a water each as well, which I forgot to start them with, so I'll do that right now. Now, normally I don't suspect that they begin with water. I wanted to double check that, and I still haven't. But if it's the case that they don't begin with one additional water each game, I've been playing at a little bit of a disadvantage as per the rules. Now, I'm just going to look at this right here. It says in the rules that they should start with, let's see here. Yeah, it only says they should have rival extra starting resources, one intrigue card, but it's just interesting that they phrased it that way as extra starting resources, as if to suggest that the one intrigue card is extra on top of the starting resources they would normally have, which is water. And I haven't seen if they begin with any kind of water at all. So the way I wanted to test it, I did look on Google, but I couldn't find any information on it. It was just a quick sort of glance on Google. I didn't dig a whole lot, but I looked at a few threads about it, about different people asking questions related to House Hagal rules. None of them had precise responses to my question. But the way I wanted to test it was if I get on Dune Digital, I can start the game and play House of Gaul, play it on the most difficult setting I can put it on, and just see if they begin with water at the start of that game. And if that's the case, then that settles the question for good. If they begin with no water, well, from this point forward for this channel, I will not be playing with water in their resource pool. Okay. Now I'm going to play as Helena Ricci's. I haven't been her in some time. She's definitely on my top 3 favorite characters to play as. My number 1 favorite is the Beast Raban. I've had the most success with him. Vladimir Harkonnen, number 2 favorite to play as. Helena Ricci's number 3. And yeah, everyone else is pretty good. Probably Paul Atreides number 4. I played Dune Digital more than I play the physical version of this game, so most of the characters I'm familiar with are from the base game itself, and I'm not so familiar with the expansion characters, but I have played with those all as well. So let me just start by shuffling my deck, and then we can get right into the game. I will be going first, and I want to start off by, okay, interesting. I just want to look at the Imperium row. I have Spice Hunter, Guild Chief Administrator, which allows me to go to Guild Spacing Guild track and blue and yellow spaces. It says discard a card to trash a card, which is good, and it also, and during the reveal phase, allows you to go and utilize the Chome track, which is quite nice. Fedaykin Death Commando is pretty cool, but it allows you to trash a card, which is nice for House Hagal. Trashing cards is important during House Hagal games. But I've not ever really used that card successfully. If you have Fremen Bond, it gives you 3 additional combat points, which is good. The one that really actually, the one that I want to use more than anything is the Twi'leksu Master, because it will help me push the researcher track down further and utilize the Twilaxu track up here sufficiently enough that I could hopefully get some victory points out of it. Treachery card for 6 persuasion allows me to go to all the faction tracks on the left-hand side of the board. And it says, let's see here, gain 2 influence instead of 1, trash this card. Wow, so it's like a power play card. So that's good. If you go through the reveal phase, it has what's called the unload effect. And I was in a discussion earlier on the Dune Imperium Facebook page with someone about the unload effect. It is triggered in one of 3 circumstances: once during your reveal phase, second, if you discard a card, and third, if you trash a card. And so what I can't figure out is, according to him, unload is mandatory at the reveal phase. And what I don't know about is, as I understand it, during the reveal phase, certain features are not mandatory, that they can just be discarded. You don't have to utilize all your persuasion points. You don't have to move trackers if you don't want to move trackers, just as you don't have to utilize the reveal phase step of your, say, treachery card. Although the wording of the rule is interesting because it's triggered during the reveal phase, but is that a choice if you choose to trigger it? Then, or is it just automatically triggered is the question. So I still need to do some sleuthing and figuring out the technicalities of how unload works. But in the meantime, I don't see myself buying treachery, only because, as good a card as it is, I don't think I will have enough persuasion for it this round. And 6 persuasion is a bit of a tall order. So let's see what we've got here to begin the game. I've got 5 persuasion to start the game. I've got 2 experimentation, reconnaissance, a dagger, and a convincing argument. And let's see here. What do I want to do to begin this game? Well, the sooner I can get High Council, the better for me. I think that's going to be a good idea. So I will take my experimentation and take smuggling, so I can move my chum tracker up 1 and potentially get, if I'm lucky, 8 Solari next round in round 2. So that's what I'm thinking of doing, and yeah, let's do it that way. So to begin the game, I will use experimentation. I'm going to put my agent here, and I get to move my research tracker up 1 here, which allows me to put a specimen in the oxalotl tank there. And that ends my turn. Let's go to Earl Memnon Thorvald. He's going to take a Rakeen and use his signet ring, and when he goes to a Rakeen, he generates a troop, and because it's a combat space, he puts in 3 troops total. The troop he generated plus 2 out of his garrison, which puts him at 6 strength. He gets himself 1 spice for his signet ring ability. Let's move on to Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. Oh no, this card somehow got placed upside down. Okay, he's taking fold space here, and all that is going to allow him to do for the time being is move up this tracker. Let me see if I can fidget with these batteries a little bit. They look like they're starting to go bad. There it is. It just needed a little bit of a punch. Okay, great. So he moved his tracker up, resolving agent phase 1, going to agent phase 2 now. What will I do? A part of me wants to go to Carthag now. And another part of me wants to use experimentation to do what, though? I could go to any of the desert places like Imperial Basin. I can't go to Haga Basin because I don't start with any water. I have no water. In the Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, you do not start out with any water. So honestly, Carthag is probably the best bet. I could go to Imperial Basin and I could get one spice, but it just isn't enough. The benefit there would be that I could push my experimentation card. I could use my research tracker up one again, and that having used my previous experimentation. But I don't think I want to do that, even though it would allow me to move my Twi'leksu tracker if I go in the downward position. So that'd be one, and then two. And then I'd have an intrigue card on the second go. Or I could go to use my reconnaissance, go to Carthag now, get an additional troop, and get an intrigue card now. And goodness gracious, I do think that's what I'm going to do, because one thing I kind of regret doing in the previous game that I lost in is not taking bigger risks in combat when I thought it was necessary that I should do that. So I'm going to need to generate more combat troops while the getting is good. Carthag is wide open. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my reconnaissance. That's going to put me down to 3 persuasion points. And I'm going to go to Carthag now. Get myself a troop in my garrison. I'm not entering combat this round because House of Gaul is really difficult to beat, but I do want this intrigue card, so I'm going to try that. Private Army, 2 spice for 5 combat points. That could come in handy. That will come in handy, I suspect. Right on. Okay, so let's move forward to Earl Memnon Thorvald. He's taking Conspire. Right on, dude. Good move. Taking Conspire, generating 2 troops in his garrison. He's not in a combat space, so they're just going to sit in his garrison. And we're going to move forward to Baron Vladimir Harkonnen. He's taking Hardy Warriors. Generates 2 troops. It is a combat space. And he generates a total of 4 troops, 2 that he just generated, plus 2 out of his garrison. And that's going to put him at 8 total combat. So he is in the lead now, having made that move. It is now my reveal phase. Oh boy, what do I want for 3? Since it's my reveal phase, my experimentation allows me to put a specimen in the Oxalotl tank, and I will do that. But what else do I want to do? Honestly, 3 persuasion isn't really very impressive. Thadakan Death Commando is not that good of a card, in my opinion. Piter Genius Advisor and Beguiling Pheromones are the 2 Twi'leksu Row cards available. I might buy them. According to Beguiling Pheromones, it reads, if you sent an agent to a faction board space this turn, trash one of the grafted cards and gain an additional influence with that faction. That could be good, but I'd have to be drawing it on a somewhat frequent basis. Fedaykin Death Commando would incentivize me to invest more in Fremen cards, but of what use would that be to me? Perhaps Spice Hunter. I could get Spice Hunter next round, maybe, but no, the Twi'leksu Master is really good. Now, there's a... Oh, when I went to interstellar shipping, I never moved my tracker up 1. What do you know? Okay, so Treachery might be available to me next round if I can get High Council. So, oh goodness, what do I want to do? Well, let's see here. When treachery opens, when it's used, as I'm looking at it now, I think it sort of answers one of my previous questions about how unload works, because if that card gets trashed, it will unload itself and automatically, okay, I think I understand now what's happening. During the reveal phase, it gets discarded, and so it generates the unload effect, which in this case is deploy 2 troops to the conflict. Or if you say trash it in the instance that you use it during the agent phase, it would resolve the unload effect, I suspect is what it suggests. I could double check the rules to be let's see here. A unit, okay, here we go. Unload. A reveal box with unload is triggered in any of 3 situations during your reveal turn as usual, when you discard the card, or when you trash the card. So yes, it's anytime you trash or discard that card, it generates its unload effect. I see now why he said it was mandatory that it gets used. Okay, that might be in fact the case, and that my suspicion was wrong. All right. There is nothing I want to buy. I don't want to buy the Fedaykin Death Commando. I don't want to invest in Fremen cards. So we will not do that at this point in time. I will resolve the conflict now. Thorvald, he generates 3 points, putting him at 9. Harkonnen, he generates 1 point. They end this round in a tie. They earn 2 spice each. Now, under normal rules, when they generate 7 total spice, they get a victory point. However, in this instance, because we're using the expansions, they will hoard spice for the sole purpose of buying these technology cards over here. They don't spend them for victory points. All right, so let's see here. We will resolve the winnings as we have. We're going to now put out spice into the desert positions. The Great Flat, Haga Basin, and the Imperial Basin. We're going to return the combat trackers to their home position, returning troops to their supplies, flipping the next conflict card and moving the round tracker to round 2. And returning my persuasion tracker to this position, rolling the Imperium Row dice. What does that do? Well, I rolled a 1 and a 4, which means I excommunicate the first card and the 4th card in Imperium Row and replace them with new cards, which is sad because bye-bye, Twi'leksu Master, you're gone now. Too bad, that's sad. I was looking forward to utilizing that strategy this game, but it doesn't look like it's going to work out for me. Thumper, which is a promo card I bought. It's a unique promo card I got. Bene Gesserit Initiate could be interesting. Now, the Thumper, what does it do? Let's see here. It says it's a Fremen card. And double the bonus spice you harvest with this agent when you use it. That's cool. Bene Gesserit Initiate is self-explanatory. Now, Treachery is still available for sale, and I might still buy it. Okay, so let's move forward to the next round. Yes, we need to move the agents back to their home positions, of course, as we will. At the start of the 3rd round, the opponents will get their Swordmasters, and Thorvald starts this round off. What does he want to do? He's going to take tech negotiation. Does he have enough spice for something? Let's see. Actually, yes, because he has 3 spice and he gets a -1 spice discount on any tech card he buys. This one is worth 4, so it would only cost him 3 spice. So it says, as the effect of this card resolves itself, it says, for 3 spice, trash this and get a victory point. Or if it's the end of the game and you still have this, is worth 1 victory point for each faction where you have 1 or less influence. That's an interesting incentive to not utilize all those spaces to get those victory points. I don't know how that would play out well for anyone. Anyway, this will quickly get him a victory point because his Signet Ring ability allows him to get 1 spice every time it's used. So good for him. 3 spice is being spent now for having earned that tech card, and we will reveal the next tech card available for sale, which states it's called the Detonation Devices. When you win a conflict using a dreadnought, you may return a dreadnought to your supply to gain a victory point instead of taking control of a board space with it. Okay, that's actually cool. That gives me incentives to think about getting a dreadnought, but it would cost me 3 Solari. So what I might do is on this next round, when I go back to smuggling, I will go to High Council. Yeah, I will go to High Council. I will very likely, I'm going to definitely have my Signet Ring. Huh. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, we will get there when we get there. Okay, so Harkonnen, what does he want to do? Taking a dreadnought. He goes over here. He gets himself a dreadnought. He cannot, he cannot afford anything. He does not get the discount on the technology card. So he needs a 3 spice. He doesn't have 3. He only has 2. But he does get himself a dreadnought. And because he doesn't have enough spice to buy a technology card, he's going to put a tech negotiator in this position, waiting to get him discounted prices down the road. And it's not a combat space, so nothing happens in combat at this point in time. Let's move forward to my turn, reveal my hand. I'm looking at a total of 4 persuasion points. I sure forgot to move that tracker back. We're still on the first agent phase. Let's see here. Signet Ring is going to take me to smuggling. Yeah, you know what's interesting here? Okay, so let's just think about this. There's no way I'm going to be able to afford treachery, or will I? Let's look at this. I will spend a persuasion point, putting me at 3 persuasion. And then I will take High Council for 5 Solari next round to give me an additional 2 Solari. So I would be able to afford treachery. But let me look at the text one more time to be sure. Gain 2 influence instead of 1. Trash this card when it's being used. And then you automatically deploy troops to the conflict. Not always a great idea, whereas if I have Thumper, I can double the bonus spice you harvest with this agent. Gosh. Okay, I'm going to take Treachery, actually, because it's just too good a card to miss. It's just disappointing that I won't be able to get rid of my Seek allies, but I'll just have to start utilizing it as soon as possible down the road. So yes, to begin this round, I'm going to maintain my strategy of using the Signet Ring to go to smuggling yet again. And you know what? How dare I forget to do this? The last time I went to smuggling, I was supposed to get a Solari, and I didn't do it. And this time, I'm going to do it. I'm taking 2, only to make up for the time I forgot to take a Solari last time. My apologies on forgetting about that. I tend not to forget things like that, and I guess I'm just a little bit forgetful today. So now I'm going to move my Chom tracker down to generate 8 total Solari. Here you are. 8 total Solari has now been generated, and I can use my Signet Ring ability, which allows me to place a card out of the Imperium row to get it at a discounted rate of -1 down the road. So I'll just set it right there for now as a reminder to myself that it's there. Sardaukar Quartermaster allows you to go to green and blue spaces, and if it's grafted, I can generate a combat troop and draw a card, and in the reveal phase, it gets 2 combat and 1 persuasion. I don't see myself grafting cards this game, so I'm not going to utilize that. Okay, if I'm lucky in the next round, I'll be able to get Thumper. And if that's the case, if I get a card underneath it that doesn't seem interesting, I'll nuke out the Imperium row. We're going to go into Agent Phase 2 now. And after having used my Persuasion here, that puts me at 3 Persuasion. So everyone knows where I'm sitting at present time. We're going to go back to Earl Memnon Thorvald, who is going to conspire. He's going to move himself up 1 space there, generate a victory point, and get 2 troops in his garrison for future conflicts. They will not go anywhere because he's not in a combat space. Harkonnen, what does he want to do? Harvesting spice. So he's going to now move to the Great Flat and generate 4 total spice. And that's going to put him at 5 spice. I beg your pardon. 6 spice. That's pretty brutal. He is now in a combat space, so his Dreadnought and his troop enter combat for 5 total combat points. Now it's my last turn. I'm going to use my dagger to take the High Council and spend 5 Solari in doing that. Here's a 5 Solari token. Let's put that in the bank. Put my dagger here, take High Council, put a tracker there so we keep track, and that's going to put my persuasion at a total of 5 right now. Okay, we are now going to get into the reveal phase before we resolve combat, and of course I want to spend my persuasion buying treachery. So that's going to go into my discard pile over here. And that resolves my reveal phase. Let's get into combat. I will reveal a card just for the sake of rules. He blanks out anyway, but he would have won because he's not going against anyone in competition, which is unfortunate that I didn't utilize this time to get into combat, but let's face it, I needed to get that card right away. So he gets himself 2 Solari, an intrigue card. If he generates 3 intrigue cards, he will have a victory point. And for the next round, he's going to get the Mentat. So we'll put that over here for him. All right, at the beginning of round 3, he is going to get his Swordmaster along with Earl Memnon Thorvald. The winnings have been resolved. Now we're going to put out Spice. Spice goes here. Spice goes here. We're going to return the combat trackers to their home position. We're going to return troops to the supply. He's going to put his Dreadnought on the Imperial Basin. That guy goes back to his supply. We're going to flip this conflict card. Solari. Goodness, these are not interesting conflicts. And they get, of course, their agents. Their sword masters, I should say. Okay, wonderful. And the persuasion tracker goes back to base 2 since I have High Council now. 4 and 1. Oh, goodbye, Thumper. Let's see what's going to happen. So Bene Gesserit Initiate goes away and the Thumper goes away. I was looking forward to that Thumper. I won't be able to use it now. Another Spice Hunter and Web of Power. Wow, that looks like a good card. If I have 2 influence in any of the factions, except for Bene Gesserit, I would have 2 Solari every time I go to Emperor space, or every time I utilize this card. 2 influence with the Spacing Guild, I'd get to draw a card. 2 influence with the Fremen, I get free water. And every time it's revealed, I get a faction increase anywhere I want. This must be bought. I need this card in the reveal phase next game, next round. So that's got to happen. I've got to also begin trashing out bad cards as soon as possible so I can draw that as frequently as possible. All right, what do I do from this point? We're going to move the first player tracker here, and we're going to put the agents back in their home positions. The agents have been returned. And of course, this tracker goes back to agent phase 1. All right. Harkonnen begins this round. What does he want to do? Still suits. He comes here and he gets himself a victory point. And that's all it does. Actually, I take that back. Nope, that's all it does. He has no troops in his garrison, so nothing gets pushed forward into combat. Now it goes to me, so I'm going to take my play area cards, put them with my discard pile, shuffle them up real quick 2 times, and draw my hand and start strategizing about what I want to do for this round. Okay. I've got 2 daggers, 2 experimentations, and a seek allies. Yeah, I'm thinking of using my experimentation to go to the Imperial Base and get myself 3 spice. And in the next round, on the next agent phase, you seek allies, spend those spice to trash one of my daggers to take selective breeding. And will I enter combat this round? No, not yet. I don't think so. The 6 Solari doesn't seem very appealing to me. I don't see myself needing much more Solari anymore in this game. The only time I think I might need it is to, if I get far enough on the researcher track, I could spend 7 Solari to move my Twi'leksu track 2 spaces forward. So I just don't think I'm going to need it now. A Dreadnought would be nice, but I'd have to buy the Dreadnought and buy that. That's a lot to do. That's a lot to do, and time is of the essence. Every move matters in this game. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm going to take experimentation. I'm going to put my agent here. That's going to generate a spice for Harkonnen. And I will take 3 spice. And I'm not going to enter combat right now, but I will push my tracker forward 1 and then move my Twi'leksu tracker up 1 as per the space indicates. And that is my turn. Let's go to Thorvald. What does he want to do? Harvest spice. He's going to go to the Haga Bezit and get 4 spice for himself. He has 2 troops he can put into combat. And that resolves his turn. Let's get over to the second agent phase. Still Suits is already taken. Somehow some of my cards got mixed up. He is going to Carthag, and he will generate himself a troop into his garrison. He's going to push it into combat because it is a combat space. That will get him 2 combat points. He will then move his Twi'leksu tracker 1 space, tying with me, and he's going to excommunicate the Beguiling Pheromones card out of Twi'leksu row, and the next card will be replaced in its position. Looks like we've got Twilaxu Infiltrator. Let's see, it says it's a grafting card. It only allows you to go to blue spaces. Enemy agents don't block your agent this turn. Draw. And if you have 2 research track icons, you can then get yourself an intrigue card. Now, I just want to make sure I'm getting this correct. Those are called genetic markers. I'm going to have to make proper note of that. Maybe I'll put like a note here with, I'll put that genetic markers so I can tell myself what those are actually called for the purposes of this game. All right, wonderful. Yeah, it's too late for me now, but I'm remembering that I have Private Army, and that would have given me a pretty good boost in combat if I wanted to put 2 troops in. I don't know. Could have happened. But I need to take selective breeding and trash out some bad cards, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so he has done his turn. Let's go to my turn now. Seek Allies is going to now be trashed out of the game permanently. And I'm going to take my agent, put it on selective breeding, push myself up 1 on that tracker, and I'm going to trash out Dagger from this game permanently and draw 2 cards. And what that's going to do for me, we'll find out. So right now, my persuasion is at 5. And I have my experimentation, so I'll be able to put a 3rd troop in the Oxalotl tank, which will allow me to move the Twilaxu tracker 1 to get that intrigue card. So I have that to look forward to in this reveal phase. All right, let's go next to Memnon Thorvald. Selective breeding. He can't go there. I just took that space. Haha. He's going to take wealth. He's just going to move his tracker 1. He's going to get that alliance token soon. Harkonnen, what's he want to do? Tech negotiation. This time I'm sure he has enough for a tech icon. He's got a discount of 1. He's going to buy the most expensive one he can afford, and wouldn't you know it, he can buy Holtzman Engine. So let's have a look at what it says. At the end game, it's worth 1 victory point if you have at least 2 Spice Must Flow. It does nothing for him in terms of the game because he doesn't collect cards. But it does have the House Hagal icon in the bottom right-hand corner, which means it is what he buys. He hoards spice for the sake of buying these things, and so for him, this will cost 5, not 6, a discount 1 spice. That will go back to the bank here, and this will go to his play area here. We'll reveal the next one now. Okay. Training drones. Tap this tech icon to get yourself 1 troop. Now we are going to go to... Oh, that was the Baron who just did that. So now we go back to my reveal phase. It's my turn to reveal right now. And let's see here. I've got... what did I say I wanted to buy? Oh, thank goodness. I've got Web of Power. That's what I wanted, and that is so cool. I'm so stoked to have this card in my discard pile. Wonderful. Let's see if this thing gets anything good. Treachery. Didn't I already have Treachery? I already have Treachery. Could you imagine if I got 2? What if I got 2 Treacheries this game? I wonder how that could be good. That would be great because 2 influences on any of these tracks is an automatic victory point. That I could get that next round. I think I'm going to try for that. That would be great. That's actually really cool. So I'm going to put my persuasion now back to 2, just to make things simple for myself. And because I went to selective breeding, I needed to spend 2 spice. Let's not forget to do that. That puts me down to 1 spice. I just want to make sure I remember to do everything. A specimen needs to go to the Oxalotl tank. I will now spend these 3 specimen to push my tracker 1 space forward. That's going to get me an intrigue card. Oh goodness, this is not always good. If I can manage 2 dreadnoughts, 1 spice must flow, 4 influence on 2 influence tracks, and a seat on High Council, and if I have 3 of those 4 things, I get 1 victory point. Or if I manage to do all 4, 2 victory points. Okay. That's interesting. 4 influences though on all those tracks. That is a tough one to get. Now, getting 2 dreadnoughts this game, that's also hard to do. Um, hmm. It's very likely I will not be able to do this game because those 2 dreadnoughts are. Well, let's really think about this for a second. Getting dreadnoughts isn't all bad. I would have a strong lead in virtually any combat I got into. And it would be at the cost of 6 Solari. I have 5 right now. So I'd have to go back to what I would need is when I draw the treachery card, take fold space, trash the treachery card, put my troops into combat as per the rules, get that victory point, putting me at 2, and then an interstellar shipping becomes available for me. And that will help me generate a lot of Solari very quickly. And troops on the Chom track and a faction increase. Maybe this can be achieved with this, and I just got Web of Power. Maybe this can be done. Okay, we'll just keep that here on the side to remember that I can do this. I'm going to put this in a special place to remind myself that I have this thing I need to attempt to do this game. So there you have it. It's right here, Grand Conspiracy. That resolves my reveal phase. So let's go to the Earl Memnon Thorvald, who will now take his agent phase 3. And what does he do? He goes to Arakin. He generates himself a troop and uses his Signet Ring ability to get a spice. His troop goes here, and he puts that troop in, plus 2 additional troops as well. And that's going to put him at 10 points of combat. All right, now we're going to move forward to Agent Phase 4 because Harkonnen has the Mentet. He's going to take fold space, and that's going to bump him up 1 on the Chom track, and he gets a victory point. Great. Now it's time to get into combat. Okay. Well, Thorvald generates 2 points of conflict damage, and Harkonnen gets 3. It's nowhere near enough, but it is what it is. So let's give Thorvald 6 Solari for his victory. If he gets 1 more, he cashes it in, 7 Solari for a victory point. And let's give Harkonnen 4 Solari. So what I could do is I'll give him a 5er and take back 1 single Solari. He's standing right now at 6 Solari. Okay, wonderful. We're off to a good start in this game. So now let's put our spice out onto the table. Both 2 desert spaces are taken, so only Great Flat gets spice. We're going to return the combat trackers to their home positions. We're going to return the troops to their supplies, respectively. We're going to flip this conflict card. We're going to be playing for the Imperial Basin. Going into round 4 now. His dreadnought goes back to his garrison. And we're going to return the persuasion tracker where it belongs, which it is, and roll the Imperium Row dice. Treachery, please stay in this. 2 and 3. Guild Chief Administrator and Fedaykin Death Commando, you are out of here. Let's see what we've got for the next Gunthopter and the Imperium Ceremony. Imperium Ceremony says it allows you to go to Emperor and Spacing Guild spaces plus green spaces. Look at the top 2 cards of the Intrigue deck. Keep 1 and put the other back on top. It allows you to get 3 persuasion points. This card came up last game. Now it's worth 6, but ooh, goodness me. I do need to have 1 Spice Must Flow at least in order to get this. So having those 3 persuasion points would be good for me. But Treachery is such a good card as well. I may just need to cross my fingers that Imperium Ceremony stays in for the not round 4's reveal phase and round 5's reveal phase. So hopefully I'll be able to buy it. And I can keep going to selective breeding and draw cards, which is good for me with this Web of Power card. Okay, so now we need to put the agents back to where they belong. The Mentat goes home. Is it Thufir Howitt, or is it Piter the Genius, or some other Mentat? Okay. It looks like everything is back where it belongs. We're going to put agent phase here. I get to start this next round, I'm happy to say. So we're going to now place all of... Oh, you know what I didn't do? Let's see here. What I didn't do was... Oh, I did do it. I apologize. I did, in fact, do that. So everything has been resolved now. Drawing 5 cards. I had only 4 cards left on my discard pile, so I've got to draw. I got to shuffle my discard pile and make it into my new deck, drawing 1 card. I've got Web of Power and Treachery. Okay, so what did I say I wanted to do with Treachery? Okay, interesting. Hmm. I said I wanted to go to Fold Space so I can get the 2 and then open up Interstellar Shipping. But I would like to win this victory point. It seems like they don't have a lot of troops, so right now the getting is good. What I might do... No, I can't go to Hardy Warriors. Although I could... Yeah, you know what I could do is... Oh, actually, this would be good because I would generate 2 troops from Hardy. If I go to Still Suits, I'd get a water, which is good. Get 2 points on the tracker there, get a victory point. And I would immediately trash out this card, deploy these troops to the conflict. So that would be 2 troops to the conflict from this card, plus an additional 2 troops to the conflict because it's a combat space. And then I thought about going to some like secrets, but But instead, I think I'm going to go to Reconnaissance, and if Carthag is available in the second agent phase, I will... Let's see where I'm at in terms of 2, 4, 6. So I have 8 total persuasion. And if I use Treachery, that doesn't do anything for my persuasion. So if I use Reconnaissance, it would not do me any good because I don't have any other cards with any more than 1 persuasion. I would need to draw 2 cards in order to get to 9 to seal away that Spice Must Flow. So 4, 5, 6 plus the 2 puts me at 8. Is there any way I could draw 2 cards? No, it doesn't look like there's any way I can do that because, well, hold on. No, no, I'm sorry. I'm overstepping my thinking. Hmm. Hmm. Research station, of course, but aha. Yes, there is a way. Oh no, there is no way. I'm thinking, you know what? I was like, I could take the Mentet, spend 5 Solari, draw a card, and then use a Rakeen to draw another card, and that would give me enough persuasion to buy his plus flow. But I don't have any cards that allow me to take green spaces. Darn it. Okay, I'm just gonna have to maintain my original strategy here. Is it really worth it to push in so many troops to win the Imperial Basin? I think yes, for the sake of getting the spice, but how much do I desperately need the interstellar shipping? Hmm. Hmm. In one foul swoop, I'll have Solari and Spice, but what would that do? It's for this, is what it is. Yeah, that's what it is. Maybe I'm getting too far ahead of myself. Maybe what I ought to be thinking about instead is maintaining my initial strategy for the sake of getting this faction here. And I think that is what I'm going to do. In either case, I will get troops, but I won't be able to put them all into combat, is the problem. I'll be able to put 2 troops in. That'll put me at 4. Plus, I'll be able to put a troop in, plus 2 troops. So that's actually a pretty strong lead in combat. So I could still do that, and I think I will. Right. Okay. So that's how I'm going to do this turn. Treachery to fold space. Treachery to fold space. This card is going to be trashed. And when it does, it generates 2 troops into combat automatically, which puts me at 2, 4 combat points. And I'm going to put my agent on fold space. I will get myself a fold space card. And I'm going to bump my tracker 2 and give myself a victory point right here. And get a fold space card into my discard pile. All right, let's go to the Thorvald. He's going to take Research Station. And all that does for him is move him forward 2 on this track, which gets him an intrigue card. He's 1 shy of a victory point. He has 2 intrigue cards right now. It is a combat space, so his 1 troop goes into combat, putting him at 2. And now it's Harkonnen's turn. He's going to harvest spice. Dang, Harkonnen's got a lot of spice this game. He goes here to collect 4 total spice. And he's pushing his Dreadnought into combat, putting him at 3 combat points. And it goes to me now. We're in Agent Phase 2. And Carthag is still wide open. That's nice. Unfortunately, 2, 4, 5. That's going to put me at 7 persuasion. Hey, but you know what? Treachery is available again now in the reveal step. So yeah, I'm going to go to Reconnaissance. I'm going to take this agent to Carthag, generate a troop, put it along with 2 other troops in combat. And that's 2, 4, 6 points of damage. So we'll do this here, putting myself at 10. And right on. I like this. I think this is looking pretty okay. I hope. Cross my fingers. They don't have any troops in their garrison, so I like that. Although Highliner is still a thing. And it only generates for them 3 troops, but still, it's enough where they can gain on me. Okay, so let's get forward to... Oh, I need to reveal a intrigue card. 2 Solari for myself. That's okay, not too bad. That's going to help in getting the 2 Dreadnoughts I require. Right, Thorvald. Cannot take Carthag. Cannot take Carthag. Oh my god, 3 Carthag cards in a row. Selective breeding. Here, he moves forward 1 on that tracker. Now I don't have to worry so much about him at all because he's down to 1 more agent. Harkonnen, there's the Highliner. Dang. And he moves himself up 1 on that tracker, generates himself 3 troops, and he was the one I was afraid of. 2, 4, 6, so he goes from 3 to 9. They are now in combat. Oh, he's going to be able to overtake me. That's a disappointment. I'll get 2 water out of this. I will not win combat unless he blanks out in combat. We can hope. Let's hope he does that. Knock on wood. He might blank out in combat and I could win. It is what it is. So let's get on to Agent Phase 3. Actually, before we do that, it's my reveal phase. And yeah, I'm going to buy Treachery yet again because just getting that free victory point is so good. I can't not do it. And we will reveal Test of Humanity, which allows you to go to Bene Gesserit, green and blue spaces. Each opponent chooses discard a card or lose a deployed troop, and gives you 2 persuasion during the reveal phase. I'll put my tracker back to 2. And let's hope that the Imperium ceremony is still for sale in round 5. Okay, we're going to Agent Phase 3 now. What does he want to do? He just really wants Carthag. He's taking secrets. And he moves himself up 1 here, gets himself a victory point. And Harkonnen goes to Arrakeen. So there goes my hope of possibly winning this combat. He generates a troop, and that puts him at 11 points. So he wins that. But he also uses his signet ring, which means that he got himself a victory point because he's spending 1 Solari to get an intrigue card. And now he has 3 intrigue cards. And so he will spend those 3 intrigue cards to get himself a victory point, which means he goes from 2 to 3. And we are now going to resolve conflict. So we'll go here, and he's going to win because I don't have enough spice to do anything. However, I forgot to do this. During my reveal phase, I forgot to bump up a tracker, and I'm going to bump up my Bene Gesserit tracker. Do I want to do that? No, I'm going to do the Emperor track for the sake of hopefully going to wealth and getting a victory point there. And then, you know what the trouble is? Yeah, I need to start bumping things up. So I plan on going to selective breeding later to draw 2 cards and hopefully get a Spice Must Flow, but I'll get that victory point there. I could use the Treachery card on Fremen. I'll have 2 water, so that'll get me Hardy Warriors open to me. Yeah, things look all right. Also, interstellar shipping is open to me now, too. So this round wasn't a total wash, even if I took 2nd place in combat. Okay. Let's get on to the business. So he revealed Arrakeen. His troop has been deployed. He got his benefits there. Now we need to get into combat. And what does he do? He just generates 2 combat points. So he beat me fair and square. He gets himself a victory point, moving from 3 to 4, and he gets to put a flag on the Imperial Basin. Quite jealous of that. He will then also put his Dreadnought here in a space where he doesn't already control for the future round. We're going to resolve the winnings. I'll take my 2 water. And put out spice. Haga Basin. Imperial Basin. Return combat trackers. I wish I could have won. Just too bad. Didn't work out that way. All troops return to their respective supplies. Flip this conflict card and move forward into round 5. Siege of Carthage is now available. Persuasion is done. Roll the dice. Let's hope Imperium Ceremony remains open. 2 and 2. When you roll 2s, you just negate one of the dice. So, Gunthopter is gone. Oh, let's face it. Probably not something I'm going to be able to draw in the next few rounds. I mean, the games against House Hagal end at about round 8 or 7. Rarely does it go past that. So we'll just see what happens. Okay, so now we are going to put this tracker back to 1 and bring all the agents back home. I will put my cards to my discard pile and draw my next hand and move the first player token up here. I've got 2 experimentations, a dagger, diplomacy, and a signet ring. Okay, so that's good for me because I can use my signet ring to Yeah, I really need to do that, so I will. I'll take interstellar shipping, and then I will go. I'm not gonna lie, this grand conspiracy card is looking difficult to achieve at this point in the game, and for what? A total of 2 victory points? Now, no joke, getting 2 victory points is nothing to sneeze at. That could make or break the entire game. It's just, I feel like I'm going to be putting a lot of effort in. It's just that if I get 4 influence on at least 2 of these tracks, I will. That's 2 alliance coins I need to achieve. And I think if I do it right, I could probably pull off Bene Gesserit. And I could probably pull off. Now, yeah, so as I think about this, here's what we could do. Here's what we can do. I'm sitting now at 6 total persuasion. And what I could do is use diplomacy to go to. I could use diplomacy to go to secrets, and that will get me a victory point and an intrigue card. I don't. You know what I could. If I use my signet ring. Yeah, here's what I could do. I would like to win this combat. They are wide open. They have no troops in their garrison. I need to start winning some victory points. I have 2 water. I could go to Haga Basin with experimentation, or no, my signet ring, apologize. With my signet ring, I can go to the Haga base and get 3 spice, put in 2 troops, and that would get me what? That would get me what? Hmm. Hmm. Tricky. I could take a Mentat space, which would be helpful. Yeah. So what I could do is signet ring. I would put aside the Imperium ceremony card, and that would reduce its cost to 5. And then I would take Hagabazin, and then I would need to. I could go to my discard pile, which has my dagger is not there anymore. So I would need to trash out a card. I would probably trash out Reconnaissance. I need these convincing arguments if I'm going to be able to buy a Spice Must Flow. Reconnaissance is sort of a lame card. I don't really need it. So of all my cards, I feel like that's my least interesting card, and I kind of need my dagger now to take the Mentat space. So you know what? No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm being kind of silly now, aren't I? Why aren't I doing this instead? Experimentation to Hagabazin, get 3 spice. That puts me at 4 total spice. Signet ring to Mentat, get to draw a card, get the Mentat. Then go to diplomacy, and then go to selective breeding, draw 2 new cards. That should be enough to do what for me? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All that just to draw a card. And my signet ring will have been used, so take the final experimentation and go to interstellar shipping, I suppose. And I would take this one to go to the second Chome track for future combat troops. Hmm. Hmm. And in any of this, is there any hope of me winning this combat? Perhaps instead of taking selective breeding, I should enter Hardy Warriors. Hmm. Hmm. What I could do is, we're getting close to the 6th round, and that's about where you start to see these double victory points emerge. Hmm. Or you know what I could do? I could go to Hagabazin, get. Huh, I could go to Hagabazin, dump in 2 troops to the combat, go to Mentet, then with the Mentet, take a Conspire for total 4, get 2 troops, 5 Solari, for another Mentet space down the road, and an intrigue card. That could be good, and I'll get a victory point out of it. Is there any hope that I win this combat? Not likely at all. Mm-mm. Not with only 2 troops in the combat. I do have a dagger that'll be used, but we'll see what the other card is I'm going to draw. I also would have private army, but not enough to use it after I go to conspire. Yeah. I'm just trying to suss out all my available options, what is going to help me the most. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do is I'll take Conspire for 4 spice, but that's going to make it more difficult to get Highliner down the road. That's okay, though. I'll get the Mentet another time. I'll get to draw a card. I'm not even terribly concerned at this point about... I would get to use Dagger. You know what? I'm just going to have to push the red button on this and start this engine. So let's get to Earl. Let's see here. Yeah, Earl Memnon Thorvald's turn. Harvesting spice. Wow. So he just took that option away from me as if he was reading my mind this whole time. That happened last game. On 2 separate occasions, I declared my strategy out loud, and I was like so dead set. On 2 separate occasions last game, I'm like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this. And then I'm like, let's do their turn. Boom. The strategy I wanted to do is taken away. So great. That just totally bungles my plans. Okay, so we got to shuffle the House of Gaul deck. I just did all that thinking for virtually nothing. I don't feel like that's the case, though. Let's be fair. I can just make some minor tweaks. I'll do some minor tweaking to change my strategy a bit. There's no way now that I can do Conspire. How can I get 2 spice? What can I do to get 2 spice, if possible? Maybe the problem is that I need to think about winning this combat as opposed to trying to get the Mentet space and having enough persuasion by the end of this round. The Mentet space will probably come in more handy in, say, round 6 or 7 when I need to have Highliner, which I'll probably be... Should I be trying to strive for that? I don't know. I'll tell you what, though. Yeah, if I go to Imperial Basin, that would give me 2 spice, which is enough for my private army. I would be able to put in 2 troops, and then I could just sort of like work from there on what I want to do. So that would be 4 plus 5. So I'd end up with 9. And then maybe if Arakeen or Carthage is available, I have 2... Yeah, if I'm lucky, I could take Carthage and get another intrigue card. So from here, let's go to Vladimir Harkonnen, who... There goes my Carthage option. He draws a troop into his garrison and puts it right into combat, putting him at 2. Oh, goodness, I put the wrong agent out. Now it's my turn again. No, I beg your pardon. It's just my turn. It's still agent phase 1. Oh boy, everything is all mixed up. I don't know what I want to do now. All for a victory point and Carthage, a flag on Carthage. Is it possible I could pull this off? They don't have their dreadnoughts in. The dude I just reshuffled House of Gaul, so there's a good chance they might be able to pull Highliner anytime soon. I don't know, but maybe. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to play out that first planned out strategy I had. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'll use experimentation. No. Will I be taking the Mentat space this turn, is the question. It would allow me to draw another card. I could go to use my signet ring, get the Imperium ceremony. The Kwisatz Haderach actually would be cheaper. I'm surprised I'm not thinking about getting that. It's just that victory point's so essential, you know? But let me just consider the idea of the Kwisatz Haderach for a moment. Let's say I get that card. That's actually not a bad idea. So what I could do is first round, put experimentation out, take 2. Yeah, I could do that. I'll do that, put my 2 troops in, get my spice, use signet ring, go to the Mentat. That would reduce my overall persuasion by a total of 2, which It's just everything has to play out perfectly, in order for me to do this. And it's a bit of a risk because it requires me to wait until my next phase, up to 3 phases, just to get Kwisatz Haderach. And what would it do for me? Well, I get a victory point out of it, so that's a thing. I'd have to go to selective breeding, but I would no longer be able to afford putting in my private army card, my private army intrigue card. That's the trouble. I could go to research station, spend 2 water. And the reason why Kwisatz Haderach is so good is because, I was telling myself that Carthage is no an option for me. I am, I forgot, I am Helena Riches. I can take Carthage if I want. So that option is still available to me if I want to try to win this combat. Sorry about thinking this out so long. It's just I want to make sure this is done correctly so I can win. So let's think this through. Experimentation. Get the spice. Signet ring. Get the Mentat. Or no, I could do dagger. Get the Mentat. And then go to Carthage. Get troop and intrigue card. Save spice for later. And I think that's what I'll do. So now that is my turn, experimentation is going to be used. Let's get this show going. Imperial Basin. That's going to give Vladimir Harkonnen a spice. But I will get 3 spice. I beg your pardon, 2 spice. I will push my troops into combat. Cross my fingers. Let's get into Agent Phase 2 now. That took a long time, didn't it? There's that research station option down the drain. Oh no. He got himself 2 spice and a victory point. That sucks. Mm-hmm. He has no troops. Hey, without any troops in the combat, this is looking pretty good for me. I think I have a chance at winning. Harkonnen, what does he want to do? Winning this conflict, I should say. Yeah, he's going to go to Arrakeen, put a troop into conflict, putting him next to me at 4 points, and use his Signet Ring ability, spending 1 Solari for an intrigue card, so he will now have 4 Solari. And an intrigue card. Now it goes back to me. I will use Dagger to go and take. So let's see here. I went from, let's see here. Let me just think about these possibilities. I'm sitting at 5 persuasion now. And I'm going to take the Mentet space here. Spend 5 Solari on that. I don't think I'm interested in trying to finish my Grand Conspiracy conflict card. So that's not a thing anymore. I don't think it's going to happen. And draw a card. So let me just shuffle up my discard pile. All right, that's kind of interesting. So maybe now. I'm at 7 persuasion points. It's a little disappointing because, yes, I can go to Carthag, but when I use my Signet Ring, what card do I set aside? I wanted to take Kwisatz Haderach, but I'm not going to have enough for it. I would have enough for it if I went to Research Station instead, but forget about having any chance in this combat and winning it, and I need to win. So when I do use Signet Ring, I will put aside Imperium Ceremony and just wait and see how that helps. Maybe I can get some Spice Must Flow cards out of this down the road. We'll see how that works out. Okay, so that is Agent Phase 2. We go back to him for Agent Phase 3. I have the Mentet now. So Thorvald is taking Still Suits. That's his first Fremen move this whole game. And Harkonnen is going to Carthag, but he cannot. He is going to Hardy Warriors. He's going to bump himself up 1 on that track, generate 2 troops, and push them into combat. That's going to put him at 8 combat points. Okay. And it goes back to me. And I said I wanted to go to Carthag so I could use my Signet Ring. Do I really want to do that? It's looking like I'm going to at least get 2nd place out of this. Let me think this through. Go to Carthag. I do what? I generate a troop and an intrigue card, so that would put me at 6. That intrigue card, if it's anything good, could be combat. That would help. But I also have my private army. And I'd go from 6 to 11 points. And I'd have to hope that Harkonnen doesn't do anything. Or if I take 2nd place this game, I get an intrigue card and I get a spice. And I'm already at 2nd place, just standing still. Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Maintaining my strategy to put out my signet ring, go to Carthag, and generate a troop, push it into combat, put it up here, get an intrigue card. Please be something worthwhile. If I get $7, that's okay. I could do that for a victory point because I have the interstellar shipping available. So I will just keep that here. But yeah, the more this granted conspiracy card, I'm just moving it out of the way because it is not looking like it's an option. I guess I'll just leave it here because I might be able to achieve at least 3 of those things. I have a seat. I might be able to get 4 influence, and I might be able to get 1 spice must flow in this game. So it's possible I can get a victory point from it. But the long goal, that's not happening. Okay, so because I have put out my signet ring, I will set this aside for a total of 5 points. That's going to put me down to 6 here. Fadakin Death Commando again. Oh my gosh, and look at that. Spice Hunter in row 1 and Fadakin Death Commando in space 3. That's just like at the beginning of this game. All right. Let's see here. Let's now get into my reveal phase. I have right now I have 6 total persuasion and 1 specimen to put in the axolotl tank. And yeah, I'm gonna buy this card for 5 persuasion, putting me at 1 persuasion, but I'll just set it at 2 to begin the next round for High Council. And all right, great. Now we're gonna get into combat. So I'm not winning this combat now, but we're gonna have to see what Harkonnen does. Let's reveal this card and see what happens. If he blanks out, I will use Private Army and overtake him. He takes 3 points. It's just not worth it. It's the 5th round, but look at that. Harkonnen would have 2 flags on the board. If I use Private Army now, he would not get that victory point, which is good. We would both get intrigue cards and 1 spice, and he would not be able to get more resources easier. But it would come at the cost of 2 spice. I would get 1 spice back, so it's really at the cost of 1 spice to achieve this. And I guess I just can't let him run away from me. I can't let him get that victory point and put a flag on Carthag. So as much as I hate this tiebreaker, I'm going to use it. Spend 2 spice. We will both be tied at 11 points in combat. I hate it. I wish I could have won. He just got lucky. Not too lucky, though. He didn't get a victory point. So I will get an intrigue card, and so will he. I will give him this intrigue card here, and I will take my intrigue card. Each opponent retreats 1 dreadnought. Okay, that's kind of nice for me. And he gets a spice, and I get a spice. So really quick, whoops, I just put myself with 2 spice. I'm going to exchange out 5 of his spice to give him a 5 spice chip. And if I need to, I'll do the same with Thorvald later. All right, resolve the winnings, and we're going to put spice out onto the board. The Great Flat now has 4 spice. So maybe what I could do now is like go to the Great Flat with my 2 water, get 4 spice. That would leave me with 6 spice. I could take Highliner soon. That's a thing I could do. Anyway, I also need to go to Interstellar Shipping so I can get this victory point. That's a thing I could do as well. All right. Return these combat trackers. Return troops to their supplies. Flip this conflict card. 1 faction and 2 intrigue cards going into round 6. That's a good win. Persuasion tracker. Roll the Imperium Row dice. 4 and 6. 6 is ignored, so Test of Humanity goes down the drain. Spice Trader. If I have 2 influence with a Fremen, I can discard this card to get 2 spice. It allows me to go to blue and triangle spaces, plus 2 persuasion and 1 combat on reveal. Okay. Let's put this back here. We turn all the agents to their home places. I cannot get a Swordmaster in Kwisatz Haderach level difficulty, which makes things really hard. His Dreadnought goes back to his garrison. You know what? He didn't come away a victor in that combat. He does not get that victory point. He does not get to put a flag on Carthage. So that's actually good. I'm happy to have stifled him, even though I really wish I could have won that combat, but it just didn't shake out that way. I didn't even consider the possibility of a tie, in all seriousness. I'll just put all these cards back into the discard pile. And let's move on. I think we're all set and ready. Harkonnen is going to go first this round to go to selective breeding. And he will bump himself up 1 on that tracker. This is the first time he's been to the Bene Gesserit spaces. I will draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold space, treachery, web of power. Awesome. So, yeah. I think what I'm going to do is, I'll do this. I will, I'll take treachery. And I will go to Hardy Warriors. I will get to put in 4 total troops into combat. And then, oh, at the beginning of this, I'm sitting at 6 persuasion. Wow, this could be a very beneficial round for me if I win it. I could use Web of Power to go to selective breeding, and I get to share a space with that green agent over there because Web of Power has a little agent icon next to the Bene Gesserit symbol. And the reason why that would be so great is because I have 2 influence with Spacing Guild. I have 2 influence then at that point with the Fremen, so I would get to draw a card and get back a water that I had just spent. So I'd still have 2 water. And then if Great Flat is still open, I would take that with Fold Space and get to draw another card. And hopefully by that point, I would have enough persuasion to say buy Kwisatz Haderach or maybe even Spice Must Flow. Who knows? We'll see how that shakes out. Because I'll have been able to have drawn at this point 4 additional cards. So it's looking pretty good for that. And that would be a victory point. And then if I win this combat, I could, I could put a faction point up. I would just put the Emperor Retract for another victory point. Alrighty then. So that is what I'm going to do. Treachery. I'm going to trash this card to put my agent on Hardy Warriors, spend a water. Whoops, dropped it. put my agent there, move my icon up 2, trash this card permanently, and put in the 2 troops from Hardy Warriors and the 2 troops that this card allows for. That's 4 total troops into combat right now. And that's going to put me at 8 combat points. And I get to give myself a victory point. I'm sitting now at 2 victory points. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to Earl Memnon Thorvald, who will take Fold Space. This is his first Spacing Guild move this entire game. Harkonnen going into Agent Phase Round 2. Harkonnen is going to do Still Suits, which he has 1 troop. He's going to put in his Dreadnought for 3, and he will move here, get himself this and a water. He got himself a victory point. Man, Harkonnen's kicking butt. Goes back to me now. I had imagined the idea of having a 3rd agent. How silly of me. I was all like, I could then go to Great Flat. That changes things. Yeah, it's still... Let me look at my discard pile. I'm pretty sure I have a dagger. Yes, I do have a dagger in my discard pile. I could trash that out. And why would that be good? Because then I would have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4 cards plus my discard pile. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I would be down to 10 cards in my deck, which means I would only draw cards I really needed, 2 of which would be convincing arguments, but Fold Space would go away as soon as it's used. I would get to draw a card. So I would be down to a total of 9 cards in my deck at the end of this game after everything works itself out, drawing the better cards as soon as possible. If I still maintain this strategy now, I could use Web of Power, go to Selective Breeding. I would get to draw not 2 cards, but 3, because I have 2 influence with Spacing Guild, and I have 2 influence with Fremen, so that'd get me water and draw another card. And I have 2 spice, which is enough for that, so I will do it. It's just unfortunate that at this point in the game, I will not get to generate more troops, and I feel like that's good, but you know what? They're down now to their last 3 agents, and who knows? We might get lucky, so let's just hope for the best. Got to try to get that victory point now while I can, and maybe if I'm lucky, I win this combat and I can get the Emperor track up 1 point for another victory point and also a Fold Space. I just got to be hopefully lucky. So I'll take Web of Power and put that in my discard pile. Share a space with this green dude here. I will move myself up 1 on that tracker for a victory point. I'm going to trash my dagger out of my discard pile and draw 2 cards. 3 total cards, and give myself a water. I now have 2 water. Gotta shuffle this up real good. Draw 3 total cards. And see where my persuasion is at this, because now I could get a Spice Must Flow. Wow, that's going to be awesome. I will definitely be able to afford a Spice Must Flow. Okay. I got that Imperium Ceremony card that I wanted. It's nice to see that working out for me. So let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 total persuasion. And on my reveal phase, I'll be able to push forward the Twi'leksu Road Tracker, although I'm not going to lie, perhaps the better move at this point in the game is to do what? I spend those specimen, push the tracker up 1, And then if I can manage to just use one more experimentation or maybe even go to research station, I could do this, get a victory point there. That could be helpful. But I mean, let's forget about it. The idea of any more combat at this point is not looking good for me. I've already used 2 of my treachery cards. So yeah, I guess I'll just have to let it sit as it is. Also having less cards in my deck and having a Spice Must Flow. Good, but bad because it's going to clog up my deck and I will be drawing it frequently. Maybe the smarter move is to get the Kwisatz Haderach. But we are coming so close to the end of this game. I would also need to still resolve 7 Spice, 7 Solari so I can get this victory point. Yeah, let's do the Spice Must Flow on my reveal phase. So, all right, Earl Memnon Thorvald, where does he want to go? Of course he wants to go to Carthag. He's been wanting to go to Carthag for ages now. He's going to generate himself a troop, and he's going to push it into combat. It's going to put him at 2 combat, and he gets to move forward again on this tracker and excommunicate Peter the Genius. Sorry, Peter Genius Advisor out of the row. Face Dancer. Man, these cards, in the last 3 games, those 2 cards have come up again and again as options. It's like the other cards don't exist. All right, now we're getting into Agent Phase 3. Harkonnen, what does he want to do? Conspire. Hey, all right. He just puts 2 troops in his garrison, so that's good for me because it's a good chance I could win this combat now. It's going to come back to me where I can now reveal my hand. And I just want to quickly put into, yeah, there's really nothing to reveal here except for the fact I have these 2 experimentation cards, which means 2 specimen into the axolotl tanks, which I will now spend. These 3, I had thought about possibly getting 2 troops with them, but no, I won't. I'm going to just push this forward 1. Hopefully I can get that victory point. And yeah, I'm going to spend my persuasion on a Spice Must Flow. That's going to give me 1 victory point. And from there, we go to, that was my reveal phase, and it goes to Earl Memnon Thorvald now in Agent Phase 3. Where does he go? He cannot go to Carthag. He wants to harvest spice. He has harvested a lot of spice this game. He's going to take 4 total spice. And I'm going to quickly take out 5 of his spice. Here's 4 spice. I'll take out 5 to put some singles back into the bank and give him a 5 chip. And he doesn't have any more troops, so this is good for me. There's a good chance, unless they draw Highliner, there's a good chance I could win this combat, which is wonderful. I can push myself up 1 point on the Emperor track, so that's great. Okay, so let's get into combat, shall we? So Memnon Thorvald just utilized his last turn, so it goes to Vladimir Harkonnen. He blanks out. That was the biggest threat of the game so far, and now it goes to Earl Memnon Thorvald, who gets 1 point, and they tie, and that means I win this combat. Awesome. I get 2 intrigue cards. All right. Okay, nice. That will be nice because let's see here. I have 2 Solari now. 8, 9, 10 Solari, 7. Yeah, I can utilize with 10 Solari these 2 cards. That's how I'm going to get troops into combat and possibly win more. Plus, don't forget, I also have this. So anytime I feel like I can use that and stop them from using their dreadnoughts and get 2 additional combat. So I will use this now and just get this out of the way. Bump myself up 1 more on that tracker. Put that away. With my faction bumper here, I'm going to go up 1 on the Emperor track and get a victory point. They tied at 2nd place, which means they get nothing They get nothing for having tied. So awesome. That was like the best way to win round 6. This game comes to oftentimes this game, the last like 3 or 4 games I played, round 6 was the pivotal turn in the game that mattered the most. And so I'm happy that this worked out the way it did. Let's now move forward and put spice onto the board. I never spent my 2 spice, did I, for going to selective breeding? I got to do that. Got to do that. I apologize. I was looking at that going like, hey, how do I still have 2 spice? That's not right. So my apologies. Don't want to lose track of that. Now, the spice has been out there, and so we are going to now return these combat trackers to their home positions. Return troops to their respective supplies. This will go here. This troop is going to his supply. His dreadnought is now at Iraqine. Flip this conflict card. Here is Carthage. So nobody got that last time. So we're going into round 7 and nobody has a flag on Carthage. It was almost Harkonnen who had a flag there. So he would have been able to get a defensive bonus, but he will not have it this turn. We're going to return this persuasion tracker back here. And we're going to roll the Imperium Row dice. 3 and 5. So say goodbye to Fedaykin Death Commando and Sardaukar Quartermaster. Okay, that's cool. Appropriate. And Sayadina. Okay, cool. Whoa. Whoa, whoa, ho, ho. Okay. Get a load of this. Okay, so... Oh, goodness gracious. What are the odds that I even managed to pull that at this point in the game? Sayadina is good because if I have 3 water, I can spend it on a victory point, and I'm at 2 water now. And then appropriate would be great because I would be able to move my Chom tracker up a space for free. And then if I went to interstellar shipping, I would be able to then, I suppose, yeah, I would just get a bunch of stuff over there. I wouldn't go for the top. I don't need anything on this technology track. So I would go to, if I bought that, it would be like bump here and bump down, get all these benefits. And then I would end up with my tracker on the first spot here. We'll have to wait and see how that could be useful. Kwisatz Haderach is still available, but at this point in the game, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So that's been done. Let's return the agents to their home position. I gotta say, I'm quite pleased with myself at the moment for where I stand, but I have gotten excited. The last game I got excited. I thought I could win in the 7th round, and then in the 8th round I ended up losing. So let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's not count the chickens before they hatch, right? I will get to start this round though, so that's cool. I will get to start this next round. We will put my cards into the discard pile and draw. I have 3 cards in my deck, and I will shuffle everything up. And I'm going to hope I don't draw a stupid spice must flow, because then if I did that, it would be a blanked out dud card, and I just don't need that right now, do I? Oh, goodness gracious. 2. Okay, what am I working with here? What am I working with here? If I use experimentation, I could get interstellar shipping out of the way now. Let me just I'm at 8 persuasion. Okay, say I go to interstellar shipping. I go up 2 on the chum track, and I move my research tracker here, put a specimen in the oxalotl tank, move my Twi'lexu row tracker 1, get a victory point. Then on my reveal phase, I buy appropriate, bang this chome tracker down 1, get a faction bonus of +1 anywhere I want, which would be the Bene Gesserit track because I'm so close to getting the Alliance coin. That's a victory point. Get 2 troops in my garrison, take some Solari, get a victory point. So that is what I'm going to do on my first turn. Then we can talk about what to do next later. Experimentation first and foremost. Get that out of the way. Interstellar shipping, 1, 2. Move this forward 1, put specimen in oxalotl tank, move this tracker up 1 space. I move to 6 victory points. Okay. And I never moved this back to agent phase 1. All right. Thorvald, what do you want to do? He's going to take secrets. He will potentially overtake me in that alliance token, but probably not. Just got to start. I got to think positive thoughts about that. But he doesn't put any troops in combat, so that's good. Now Harkonnen. Interstellar shipping. He does have 2, but he can't go there because I'm there. Huh, too bad for you, dude. He goes to wealth, and this is his first Emperor move, and that's all it does for him. So far, combat's looking wide open. Goes back to me now. I could get into this combat. Yep. That is probably what I should do, because that's the smart thing, right? But why? But why would I do that? I would only be able to put in 2 troops. Only be able to put in 2 troops, which is 4 points. But then I also have cannon turrets, but the opponents don't have dreadnoughts, but it would only give me 2 additional combat points. So I would go from 4 points to 6 points of combat points, and that is not a lot. Not gonna lie about that. Right now I'm sitting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm sitting at 7 persuasion after having used that experimentation card last round. But how wonderful would it be if I won this combat? Now let me look over here. Do I have a Spice Must Flow? Yes. Do I have +4 influence on 2 influence tracks? No. I have a seat on High Council. It doesn't look really good for me that I could manage to get a victory point from my Grand Conspiracy intrigue card, but I could at least get one of those Bene Gesserits out of the way. And maybe if I'm lucky, I could get Hardy Warriors up, but I wouldn't be able to get the victory point from it, is the trouble. I could right now, but I wouldn't be involved in combat, and I kind of need to be. I don't know if I need any. Oh, that's right. I still have. You know what I'm thinking about now? What am I doing? Huh. What I needed to do initially was this, not go up on this chum track to 2 spaces, but 1 and then 2, so I can get that Solari. And then when I go to reveal phase, I go up 1 and then 1 and 2. 1, 2. Yeah, that's what that would do for me. And then I can go back to interstellar shipping down the road for the Baxter Alliance coin if I buy appropriate, which I could do. Yeah, so I'm going to do that now. That's right. That's how I was going to do this. I remember now. Reinforcements is what I wanted to do. So yeah, I got 8 Solari. Put them over here. I do have a good shot at winning this combat now that I remember what I wanted to do. So yeah, I did not go here. I went up 1 and then down 1 to utilize the Solari. And I had it in reverse what I was thinking initially. So my strategy got a little messed up. I was wondering, like, because I was thinking it like, I knew I had a shot at winning this combat. So why is it not looking like that right now? I realized my mistake. Okay. Diplomacy. 2 hardy warriors. Here, spend a water. Generate 2 troops. Put them into the combat for 4 combat points. Right now, 5, 6, 7. I'm spending 7 of these quickly. 4 Chom shares get a victory point. 1 moment, please. Okay, Chom shares has been utilized. I got a victory point out of that. I've got my 2 troops in the combat, and that resolves agent phase. That's going to put me at 4, 6 persuasion. Agent phase 2 has been utilized. So now we're going to go to Earl Memnon Thorvald. What does he want to do? There's his Highliner space. Brutal attack. That's a brutal attack. He's pretty far down there on the victory point tracker, though. But yeah, that gets him a victory point. And he gets 3 troops, and he pushes all 3 into combat. That's going to put him at 6. Here. And Harkonnen takes Fold Space. He gets himself a victory point now. And the Alliance tracker. He has 2 Alliance trackers. What a dog. Victory point for him. But he's not involved in combat, and he has 1 agent left. It goes back to me, and so it is now my reveal turn. And what am I left with here? I got a specimen I can put in the Oxalotl tank. For 6 victory persuasion points, I wanted to buy appropriate so I could utilize the Chom track. Bumping up that 1. That way, if I go back to interstellar shipping next turn, I just go up 1 and down, and then I would get all those resources. That is what I wanted to do. Oh, I sat down too quick. Got to replace this card in the Imperium row. Power play. What a great card. Too late in the game for it, though. Okay. Agent phase 3. Earl Memnon Thorvald. Oh, since it's my reveal phase, by the way, cashing this in to push in 3 troops. 1, 2, 3. So that's going to be 2, 4. Let's see, I was at 4, 2, 4, 6. I'm at 10 combat points. All right, Earl Memnon Thorvald takes tech negotiation. Yes, he has spice. He can buy one of these things. Which one does he buy? The most expensive one. Oh my God. Unfortunately for him, it isn't going to be able to push any of his troops into combat, but he would have generated 4 troops out of this. That is incredible. 4 troops go into his garrison. He's buying invasion ships at 4 spice total. Let me just quickly do this here. Oh gosh, I just realized with 3 spice, you trash this tech icon. Didn't ever do that. So I'm using that now. 3 spice, trashing it, he gets a victory point. And then when he gets this, it's going to cost him 4 spice. It's a good thing I remembered to do that. And that's all it does. He doesn't do anything. Cool. Memo quarters, another faction alliance icon. But now he's much closer in this race than he was before. Okay. Harkonnen, Baron Harkonnen's taking Carthage, and finally he can put troops into combat. He generates a troop into his garrison, pushes 3 troops into combat, putting him at 6. And that's that. We are now going into, I have a nice lead, and Highliner has already been taken, so I'm not terribly concerned of them overtaking me. But still, I have this combat card. If absolutely necessary, I can pull this off. Let's go to Earl Memnon Thorvald. What will he do? He will generate 2 combat points, putting him at 8. Harkonnen will generate 2, putting him at 8. They do not win anything for having tied. I take the first place position with 2 victory points. I am now at 9 victory points, and I get to put a flag on Carthage, which is not super spectacular this late in the game, but it's looking really good for me right now. I like where we're at. Okay, the winnings have been resolved, and now I need to put spice out onto the board. I'm pretty sure this is the last round coming up. When I went to Hardy Warriors, I never pushed my tracker up 1. I know this because I had previously used treachery to go here, putting me at 2. And so at Hardy Warriors, I should be at 3. Yeah, I was wondering about that because I was thinking about how my Grand Conspiracy card, if I can go to Bene Gesserit, I could bump that up 1 with this, and then I could do another Hardy Warriors and get that, which would be 4. And then I would have managed to eke out a free victory point with my Grand Conspiracy for achieving 3 of the 4 goals on that card. Return combat trackers now. Return troops to the supply. Goodbye, my legion of troops. I do have to look out for Earl Memnon Thorvald now, though, because he's got the 4 troops there. That's pretty brutal. Flip this conflict card. That's cool. That is a cool way to win this last round. I wonder if I can get it. Because then I would be able to get there, you know? Another victory point. I could end up with a lot this game if I end up doing this right. Everything always comes down to the last round. Do not get too far ahead of yourself. It's not over until it is over. Roll the Imperium Row dice. 4 and 2. Goodbye, Kwisatz, Haderach, and goodbye, Spice Trader. Guild Administrator and Guild Accord. Neither one of those 2 cards are of any use to me at this time. Earl Memnon Thorvald gets to go first. I'm going to put all of my cards into the discard pile. Draw again. I'm probably going to draw that Spice Must Flow. So that is not fun. And there it is. But fold space. and Web of Power. And oh my goodness, this is great. I might be able to afford another Spice Must Flow. Next turn. All right, great. Okay. Let's just return all the agents, and then I'm going to start thinking about how I want to finish this battle, finish this last round. Let's do that. So first things first, let's do this. I'm going to count my 5, 6. I'm at 8 persuasion as of now. Earl, Memnon, Thorvald. Oh, this guy's still sitting at fold space. I never nuked out the Imperium row, and I'm just going to do that right now. Boom. And the reason why I'm going to do that is because a card could come up that's for sale that might be useful to me. Let's see. This is the last round, so it really, really matters. I'm surprised. I honestly should have done it already, but I forgot to do it. In the shadows. Show of strength, nothing of use. Nothing of use. I'm not even going to read these cards because I'm not drawing them. You know, sometimes like for example, with that card I had bought, the appropriate card, this one, it's in my discard pile. When you buy it, you get a benefit. And that's what I was sort of hoping for. You know, buy it, get a benefit. If I could just like whip out a quick benefit at the end of the game for something that could be useful, that would be good. Okay. So Oh, that's right. That is correct. And then before that, it was Carthag. And so then you Harvest Spice and Selective Breeding. All right, Harvest Spice. He's going to get 4 spice. Agent phase 1. Harkonnen goes to Dreadnought. He has enough to buy a tech card. He has 2 Dreadnoughts now, which is great for me because I have current cannon turrets. That's wonderful. What does he buy though? He can buy either. It doesn't matter which one he buys. When you win a conflict using a Dreadnought, you may return a Dreadnought to your supply to gain a victory point instead of taking control of a board space or training drones. He's going to buy this one because it's at the top of the cards. So 3 of his spice will be spent on that. Oh, you know what? This is a green guy, so he actually spends he gets 1 spice back. He gets 1 spice back because his tech negotiator is there the whole time. I wonder if I used him last time. I'm pretty sure I did. I feel like I would have noticed. Oh well, he did eventually use it. Goes to me. Okay. Let me just put my Spice Must Flow at the very back because that's useless. And yeah, so I will use my fold space to go to interstellar shipping. Let me think about that. Yeah, I'll get to draw a card. And instead of taking Solari, I will take, instead of taking Solari, I will take Spice. So I can go to selective breeding. And that should be able to get me a victory point with with the Spice Must Flow. Fold space. It's being used. Trashed. I'll just put it right back here. And I will take this guy, put him here, bump, bump. Now I will generate 2 troops here. I'm not going to be able to get into this combat, am I? And I will get to give myself a... Let me just draw this card real quick. +1. I am now at 9. Yeah, what I'll do on my next turn, I don't... What I'm thinking about is the potential of getting the Mentat, drawing a card. It would waste this, but I would get to draw a card. Let me just quickly look at my discard pile. Hopefully draw that. Hopefully draw that. I have 2 cards with 2 persuasion. Then I have these available options after that. And that would be... So what I would do is instead of... No, because then I wouldn't have any more spice to go to selective breeding after that. So forget about the idea of going there. I was thinking like go to Mentat, draw the card, and then use the Mentat to go to... I would have to do Hardy Warriors, get myself a victory, or not a victory point there, but take that water, put 2 troops in, then put those 2 troops in. That seems like the best plan, honestly, for Agent Phase 2, and potentially win this. Then take the Emperor Track Alliance coin if I win it and get a victory point there. Yeah, that's what I could do. And so I'll just forget about selective breeding. So here's where it's going to get tricky because, I still need to move my Alliance tracker up 1. I'm just going to do that now. Go here, get the Alliance token. This is the last round officially as of now. I get an intrigue card. Oh, nice. I could use this and bring myself down 1 on the Spacing Guild. No. Yeah, I could do that. Okay, let's get into Agent Phase 2. I'm sorry, I'm just getting lost deeply in my thoughts now at a point where it's just sucking time away. Fold space. He's still not involved in combat with all those troops. Harkonnen takes a Rakim. He gets to generate a troop, use his Signet Ring ability. He gets a victory point. He spends a Solari real quick. He gets an intrigue card for that, so that's 3 total intrigue cards. Let me just flip that a part of his pile here. He has 3. That's a free victory point, and put it all into the discard pile. He gets a victory point. He generates a troop into the garrison, and that's putting him at 6. He's at 8 combat right now. It now goes to me, and yes, this is good. No, this is bad. For some reason, I thought that I had Hardy Warriors available, but I don't. Oh my goodness. I never decided on Solari or Spice out of that Chum track, so let me think that through. Solari, do I want to take Solari or Spice? If I take Spice, I'll have 2. That's enough to... But I wouldn't be able to get involved in this combat, which I desperately need. How desperately, though? I'm at 9 now. Draw a card. It's the only way. It's the only way. Yeah, it would work. It would work. I just wouldn't have the Spice. See, here's the thing. If I used Web of Power, I could go to Selective Breeding, get 2 Solari, draw a card, and get a water. And if I draw a card, I could get a Spice Must Flow. So that's the safest bet in all seriousness. I'm going to take 2 Spice, not 2 Solari. Not the 8 Solari. Yeah, because I'm trying to get involved in this combat so I can win it, but honestly, it just isn't going to work out that way. So let's see here. It's Agent Phase 2. It is now my turn, and what do I want to do? The smarter move is to go to Web of Power, which, you know what, in all seriousness, because I moved myself up 1 on the Bene Gesserit tracker previously under the false impression that I was going to go to Hardy Warriors, the correct move I should have done is this one here and that one there. But you know what? I am going to be a good sport about this and put it back and just eat it as a mistake, because I should have looked closer at my cards. I cannot reverse the clock and fix previous turns, you know? I really wanted that, and I'll tell you why, because if I can get to 4 spaces on here, I would have been able to get this Grand Conspiracy for an extra victory point, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. The only way that could happen is if what I could do instead is I've already got my Spice Must Flow here, so I don't have to worry about getting any dud cards. There is a way I can get into this combat and potentially win, and everything I would break even on. So, okay, there is a way I can do this. My initial plan was to use Web of Power, but look at this. If I use this during the reveal phase, I would get a faction alliance, and I could just push the Fremen track up 1. That would be able to get me the Grand Conspiracy victory point. Instead, what I'm going to do is use Reconnaissance and go to Arrakeen, generate a troop, push in these 2 troops, and draw a card. And that will keep my Persuasion at 9, even get me up to 10, so I can buy a spice must flow and get a victory point. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So yeah, reconnaissance. Okay, reconnaissance. And I'm going to share, because I'm Helena Ricci, so I can share spaces. That's going to put me down to 8 persuasion. And that's going to sit in my play area as having been used. I will generate a troop, push him into combat for 6 points, and draw a card. So let me shuffle these bad boys up 2 or 3 times real quick. Draw a single card, put myself back up to 9 persuasion. And let's just see what I draw. Maybe it'll be of some use. Who knows? Doubtful. Diplomacy. But I have the 9. It is of no use to me. We're getting into agent phase 3 now. Conspire. Wow, the dude never... He does take this alliance coin, so that's his victory point. Oh, that stinks. That does suck for me, because now I can't get that alliance coin for the victory point. Let's give him that victory point. And he gets 2 troops into his garrison, but that's all his agents, and not a single one will enter combat this round. So my only threat is Harkonnen, who is at a commanding lead, not going to lie. But you know what? Now that I don't have to worry about... Okay. Now that I don't have to... What I could do... Actually, this is good. I'll tell you why. If I end up winning this combat, what I could do is I could use blackmail, decrease this down to 1, put myself up 5, and then if I win this combat, go up 2, which would break even. It's not enough. It's not enough to steal. I could, I guess, go down a track here, and yeah, I guess that would be it. Yeah. Now, as it happens, when you are sitting on a victory point, on the first victory point, it's locked in forever. Even if you go below it, you don't lose it. It's just locked in forever as the 1 victory point. So you've already got it. And the only thing that you could potentially lose are these alliance coins. So I don't have to worry about that. I'll just go down 1 here and then bump myself up 2 to steal his alliance coin, giving myself an extra victory point. So that's what we'll do. Now let's do Harkonnen. Harkonnen is going to interstellar shipping, but he can't because I'm already there. So he's going to harvest spice. He's going to go to Haga Basin. He's going to get 4 spice and push in any troops he has, which he has none. So that's it for him in that regard. So this could be easy for me to beat. Okay. We're going to get into reveal phase. I have 9 persuasion. I have... Okay, I can bump myself up 1 on any influence track I want. And yeah, I'm going to do the Fremen track, I think is the best bet. Actually, that's great, because then I could, you know, even if the rulebook state these are locked in, but even if it was a question, I could just still go down and then push it all the way up if I win this combat. So I could steal his coin in any case. Right, so that was done. Do I have... No. Oh, I get 1 spice from the Spice Must Flow. And I will buy a Spice Must Flow. Why am I taking cold space? Spice Must Flow, discard pile, victory point. Now we resolve combat. Harkonnen, what are you going to do? You bump up 2 points, 1, 2. But I'm going to use cannon turrets, give myself 1, 2, and displace your dreadnought. One of his dreadnoughts is retreated, so now he goes 1, 2, 3. I already win this combat. I do not need to use blackmail. So that's been done. And with that, I can resolve my winnings. I will go here, and I will steal his victory point. He goes down 1. I go up to 12 and take his Fremen coin. And let's see here. What else? I get a intrigue card. Oh, cool. That's not of much use to me, though. And then he gets 3 spice. And an intrigue card. He does not have High Council, but whatever. He has an intrigue card. And with that, victory is mine. I am the Kwisatz Haderach. I've destroyed House Hagal with only 2 agents, no Swordmaster, in a mere 8 rounds. I feel pretty good about this victory. And guess what? Yeah, I feel pretty damn good about this victory. All right, excellent. I'm super happy. I will be riding this high for some time. That's what it's all about. Winning this game, riding that high. That's why I play, so I can get the wins. I'm stoked. Heck yeah. That was a vicious battle. Oh my God. Grand Conspiracy. Did I eke out a Grand Conspiracy? Let me see. Let me just see how this resolves. Okay. I didn't get the 2 Dreadnoughts. I did get a Spice Must Flow. I got 2 of those. I got +4 influence on 2 influence tracks, Fremen and Bene Gesserit, and a seat on the High Council. So let's go up to 13 victory points. I have left these guys in the dust. They're sitting at 6. I'm over halfway beyond them on the victory track. How did I do it? Honestly, let's see here. Helena Reachis was a massive help. And, you just cannot underestimate how good she is. She's a very good character that helped me in a big way. She's not my favorite character. Again, I think I told you guys, the Beast Raban is my favorite. Harkonnen is my second favorite. And Helena is my third. Yeah, so I think that she was a huge help because I was able to get the cards I needed out of the Imperium row. I was able to share spaces with other agents. That was massive. That was massive. So that is the reason why I won. I think if I can give anything the credit to this victory, it would be Helena Reachis. Thank you so much for helping me, Helena. It's been a pleasure. And thank you for watching this game of Dune Imperium. It's been a pleasure. Peace.